$142 million in budget cuts proposed for Jefferson County Public Schools coming for next school year.
And as our Ian Hardwick told us earlier, these cuts could affect central office staff, classroom programs, transportation, and possibly lead to school consolidations. Our
longtime education expert, Sam Corbett, former JCPS school board member, is here with us. And Sam, before the holidays, they put this plan on hold. The board wanted to hear more from Dr. Yearwood. Did anything change during that month or so from what was revealed? And did you think parents falsely got their hope up that schools wouldn't be closed?
Not really, Doug. As you said, they put the school closing consolidation plan on hold. And somewhat implied that we're going to take another look at this. So they're bringing it back for Tuesday night. And the two major issues that people objected to before, closing King Elementary and closing Zachary Taylor, are still going to be moved forward. The superintendent's going to recommend that action and the board will vote.
All right. Sam, let's talk about possible job cuts. We're talking about hundreds of jobs lost possibly at central office. Let's talk about how that will affect school officials, say principals and teachers that already have a big load on them, and then you cut like IT or whatever it might be at central office. How's that going to affect them?
Connie, the superintendent has told us multiple times that he did not want to impact the classroom with these cuts. But I would suggest that these cuts are going to impact the classroom. Let me give you an example. They're cutting millions of dollars from a category they call academic coaches. These are people who technically are based at Van Hoos, the central office, but then they will go out into the schools and they'll work with teachers and counselors and young people. So if you cut those people out and the principal no longer has that person available, does that not impact what happens in the classroom?
In fact, that's Ian's story coming up at 6 o'clock. Let's move to the school closures. Very controversial. We've seen the fierce reaction from the parents at King Elementary School. They're still only saying that the facility changes will raise them $5 million.
Right, and people have suggested to me, is it worth $5 million for all of the pain and suffering that you're creating by suggesting to close King, close Zachary Taylor? Could you not find savings in other places? Now, they did slightly change the facilities plan because a couple programs that they were going to relocate, they backed off of that and they're going to leave them where they are. And they were also talking at one time about closing Liberty High School, and now I believe that the recommendation is to move that to the Male High School campus.
Correct.
Okay. Sam, there's a rise in multilingual students. They're talking about cutting some of those programs. How is that going to work when you got more? And, you know, there are also, aren't there state requirements for these students?
There are, and those numbers continue to rise. Yeah. Now, with what we've seen on a national level with the immigration numbers being down, maybe that levels off.
Okay.
But we still have a significant percentage of our students, I believe it's north of 20%, who English is not their first language. Many of these students come into the school program, they speak no English. Some of them have never been in a formal school setting. So if you're cutting those folks that are providing that support to the schools and the families, that's got to impact the classroom.
Well, let's talk about the meeting next Tuesday. Let's take us right to that meeting. So when we had Corey Scholl on here right after they put the plan on hold, the school board chairman, he said they did it because they were so shocked at the fierce feedback that they got and the fact that it was the way it was rolled out. So do they vote for this plan as we see it now, 300 job cuts and the closing of the schools?
I think the school board is at the point where they know they have to make serious, big decisions. So my inclination is to say that they're going to have to support the majority of the recommendations from the superintendent. But I guarantee you, since this was announced yesterday, they are being bombarded, they meaning the school board members, they're being bombarded by calls and emails and text because people are very comfortable reaching out to their board members and expressing their opinions about whether it's closing schools, cutting jobs, doing whatever.
All right, Sam, thank you very much for your perspective.
It's going to be interesting.
All right, we'll check in with Mallory right now. Another frigid night ahead.